Hey, it's BJ. It's Very Basic Bible. I'm up here in the right, as you can see. Started a little prematurely there. I'm usually like share screen. Instead of Ruth chapter 4, we're going to do a Bible study along over a topic or a word or the thing called leaven. Because I go to a church that has a church calendar thing, and they talk about leaven this, leaven sometimes, leaven this, leaven sometimes. There's a particular festival or feast. I don't really do that stuff, but the church kind of does it a little bit, you know. Well, anyway, I learned that the tradition of the church is about leaven. All right, we're gonna look up stuff now about leaven because I'm going to go to a church event and they're going to talk about leaven stuff. So I was like, why not look up leaven? And look at this. Over here, you can see Ruth chapter 4, because that's what we've been in. But I've done about 4 to 6 Bible studies in a row over just Ruth. But hey, Bible study along for the word leaven. Or is this spelled L? Is it L-E-A or L-E-V-A-N? There's the Levant, but that's not leaven. Let's see. New American Standard. Oh, not there. Oh, okay. Wait, no, it's got to be there. Here, look at one of the older translations. New King James. There we go. Yeah. Let's see. It's got to be. Okay, I was wrong. But I know it's Levant is an area over in the Middle East somewhere around there. Okay, leaven. I bet it's not. Okay, watch this now. Leaven. Go back to our good old NASB. I bet it's right there. New American Standard Bible. Hit the search. How do you leaves? Leaven. I'm misspelling everything. Leaven. All right, look, right there. Leaven. Leaven. Okay, I'm just gonna hit enter. Let's see what happens. Oh, fine, come on, finally. I knew it. I knew it. I thought that there would be a lot more than 23 and 12. I thought the word leaven and words like leaven, such as leavened, I thought those words would be, I thought it'd be like 100 and something and like, 50 something. I was wrong. Let's see what it says about leaven. All right. 23. So it first shows up, Exodus 12:34. So the people took their dough before it was leavened, with their kneading bowls bound up in the clothes on their shoulders. Bound up in the clothes on their, they got like maybe like in their clothes, they got bread with kneading bowl. What's kneading bowls? I'm gonna type in knead. Remember, since this is very basic Bible, we're trying just to look at the Bible, see if we can figure stuff out. Oh, hey, look at this. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, quickly, prepare 3 measures. Let's go to full chapter. This will tell us, okay. Control F, look in the bottom left. Knead. Right there, buddy. 1 of 1. Okay. Now the Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre while he was sitting at the tent door in the heat of the day. Okay, there's verse 1. Verse 2. When he raised his eyes and looked, behold, 3 men were standing opposite him. And when he saw them, he ran to them from the tent door to meet them and bowed down to the ground and said, does he even know it's the Lord? He just knows it's 3 men. I'm not sure. I mean, my Lord, he says, my Lord, but he doesn't say Lord God, Lord Yahweh, just my Lord. My Lord, if now I have found favor in your sight, please do not pass your servant by. Please let a little water be brought and wash your feet and make yourselves comfortable under the tree. And I will bring you a piece of bread so that you may refresh yourselves. After that, you may go on since you have visited your servant. You're going to give him a piece of bread. And they said, so do as you have said. Okay. So like, hey, give us a piece of bread. Give us some water. Do as you have said. Hey, we'll sit here, we'll chill. Okay, don't pass by. Okay. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah, because Abraham's living in a tent. He doesn't have a place to live just yet. Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, quickly, prepare 3 measures of the fine flour, knead it, and make bread cakes. Abraham also ran to the herd and took a tender and choice calf and gave it to the servant, and he hurried the servant, I'm guessing, because Abraham gave it to the servant, and the servant hurried to prepare it. He took, wait. Let me see. Please let a little water be brought and wash your feet. Make yourselves comfortable under the tree. Okay, now get in the shade. Let's wash your feet. I'll bring you a piece of bread, so you may refresh yourselves. A piece of bread. Okay. After that, you may go. But right here, quickly prepare 3 measures of fine flour, knead it, and make bread cakes. Not just a piece of bread. He's going to make them fresh bread cakes, whatever those are. He also ran to the herd and took a choice calf. He's going to give them food. He's going to give them calf. He's going to, what, are they going to cut it up and eat it? I guess so. He took curds and milk and the calf, which he had prepared, and set it before them. Wait, he didn't set the bread? Probably did. Curds and milk. I'm not sure curds are milk. Okay. They said, where's your wife, Sarah? And he said, there in the tent. Okay, so we're all done with that. So he kneaded the bread, made some bread, right? Gave it to him. It does say curds and milk and the calf he gave them. I'm guessing he gave him the bread. He said he was going to give him bread. I mean, that's just, All right. Right here. The Niles will swarm with frogs. Oh, this is Moses is leading the children out of the Exodus. So remember, it's chronological order. Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy is after the Exodus. 1st and 2nd Samuel are after Deuteronomy. Jeremiah is after Samuel. Now, not all the books of the Bible are chronological, but here, the place that Knead happens to show up, it's in chronological order. Pretty cool. If it had shown up and say Ecclesiastes, well, that's not really a historical book. If Knead had showed up in Proverbs, we couldn't say, oh, that's after this time. Well, it's Solomon wrote Proverbs. Solomon wrote Ecclesiastes. So we assume it's during the time of Solomon, and it's not a historical book though. Right here, these all happen to be books recording history. So that's pretty cool. So Genesis is first, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And you got children of Jacob, the children of Israel, are in Egypt. Then God's like, hey, Moses, bring him out of Egypt. Here's Moses. He's going to do a plague to get those people out of Egypt. What plague does he do? Frogs. The Nile will swarm with frogs, which will come up and go into your house and into your bedroom and on your bed and into the house of your servants and on your people and into your ovens and kneading bowls. Kneading bowl. Where you live will go into your house. The Nile will swarm with frogs. Where you get your water supply will come up to your house where you live. The frogs will go into your bedroom and on your bed where you're trying to sleep. Even will bother your help, your servants, on even the free people, and where you get your food, your ovens and your kneading bowls. You don't even have so much frogs, kneading bowls. So, gonna make some bread, but in Exodus, frogs gonna go in the kneading bowls. Here's our verse, 12:34. Blessed will be your basket and your kneading bowl. I'm guessing your basket to get like figs and stuff. Oh, look. Blessed will be your basket. Deuteronomy 25. Deuteronomy 28:17. Cursed will be your basket and your kneading bowl. So God is blessing and currently the blessings that now it shall be if you diligently obey the Lord your God. Okay. Blessed will be you in the city. Blessed will be the children of your womb. Okay. Blessed will be your basket and kneading bowl. Blessed will be when you come in, when you come out. The Lord will cause your enemies to rise up against you, to be defeated by you. To be defeated by you. But consequences, but it shall come about if you do not obey the Lord, cursed will be you in the city. Cursed will be your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed will be the children of your womb. Yikes. Okay, guys. The Lord will send against you curses, panic, and rebuke. Man, don't be disobeying the Lord when you've made an agreement with him. In the Old Testament, they were like, we will be your nation. God's like, okay, let's make a treaty. Good thing we're saved by faith in the New Testament. And I guess they were saved by faith in the Old Testament. You know, it's a little strange thing that I'm not in the people in the Old Testament, the Jews were in a relationship with God where if they did something good, they were blessed. They did something bad, they were cursed on earth. But then God met with other people in the Old Testament. He didn't necessarily bless them and curse them that way. When I, in the New Testament era, after Jesus, I'm in the New Testament era, I meet with Jesus. I have faith. I don't necessarily get blessings or cursings. It's kind of strange. God did something with Israel that he didn't do with everybody. If we were to study this further, we would find that he does do similar things with other nations. So, you know. All right, where were we? Oh, kneading bowls. So God's going to curse them. I'm guessing the basket for like baskets of figs and stuff. Oh, hey, look. Now the woman had a fattened calf in the house. She quickly slaughtered it, and then she took flour, kneaded it, and baked unleavened bread from it. She took dough, kneaded it, made pastries in his sight. 2 Samuel 13, okay? Jeremiah 17:18. The children gather wood, the fathers kindle the fire, so wood, fire, and the women knead dough to make sacrificial cakes for the Queen of Heaven. They pour out drink offerings to other gods in order to provoke me to anger. Yeah, got to get angry about that. You know, curses of disobedience, you know, and they're making cakes to other gods. Abraham, he made a cake to the Lord up here. All right. Oops. Leaven. Oh, one forward. Here we go. So the people took their dough before it was leavened. So we just talked about how a lady took Abraham was like, hey, Sarah, take your dough, take some flour and some leaven and make bread cakes. Okay. It said that the lady took some dough, took some leaven and leavened it and made bread, right? They leaven it, they make bread with it. But here, so people took their dough before it was leavened. So did they not add leaven? With their kneading bowls, so you use a kneading bowl, you knead the bread, you put leaven in it, as we read, but here it says before it was leavened. Let's read the full chapter here. Let's just. I'm going to read through it kind of quick because I want to get on to other stuff. Maybe not too quick. Maybe this can be a long one or a two-parter. All right. Now the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, this month shall be the beginning of month for you. This is after all the 12 plagues. In fact, if you look down here, Exodus of Israel, the Egyptians urged the people to send them out of the land in a hurry. Okay. Where is it at? The sons of Israel did according to the words of Moses. Okay. All right. I'm looking real quick. They didn't observe. Okay. So I was looking for something else. Chapter 11. The last plague, Moses said. All right. Then the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, so that my wonders will be multiplied in the land of Egypt. So Moses and Aaron performed all these wonders before Pharaoh. Yet the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. He did not let the sons of Israel go out of his land. It's in chapter 11. That's the summary. Why do I know? Last plague. One more plague I will bring on Pharaoh and on Egypt. Okay? One more plague. Last plague right here. Okay? About midnight, I'm going to go out in the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn of the land of Egypt shall die. From the firstborn of the Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the firstborn of the slave girl who is behind the millstones, all the firstborn of the cattle as well, all the firstborn of Egypt. About midnight, I'm going to go out in the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Look at it. But not even a dog will threaten any of the sons of Israel. Sons of Israel will be protected. Not even a dog will harm them. Look, I'm going to go in the midst of Israel, of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. But not even a dog will threaten any of the sons of Israel, not nor anything from person to animal. Because what did it say up here? Firstborn of Pharaoh, who sits on the throne, to the firstborn of the slave girl. All the people from Pharaoh all the way down to slaves, all the firstborn of the cattle as well. But in Israel, nor anything from person to animal. Why? So that you may learn how the Lord distinguishes between Egypt and Israel. And all these servants of yours, all the Egyptians, these servants of yours, quote, they're not their servants. Israel are the Egyptian servants. But hey, when I go through and strike all their firstborn, they will suddenly be your servants. They'll come down, all these servants, it's quote unquote, of yours will come down to me and bow themselves before me, saying, go out, you and all the peoples who follow you. Leave, get out of here. Exodus, exit the place. Last plague. You got the summary statement right here. Then the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen, so my wonders will be multiplied. So Moses performed all these wonders. The frogs we read about earlier, there were boils, there were gnats. They turned the Nile, their water source, and a huge food source. They turned it into blood. There's hail, which damaged all the crops. There's a lot of different plagues. So now, before the last plague, before the plague, where all the firstborn of Israel of Egypt dies. Here we go. Now the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, this month shall be the beginning of months for you. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Okay, so Pharaoh's saying, God says, Pharaoh will let you leave. And then God says, hey, this is going to be the first of the months for you. Okay, so when the Jews leave, they start their calendar. That's going to be the first month, not January like us. Where did we get that from? I'm not sure. Some guy in history. The Jews, though, back in Moses and Pharaoh's day, the first month coincides with the month that they left Egypt. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, here we go. Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, they are each one to take a lamb for themselves, according to the father's households, a lamb for each household. Now, if the household is too small for a lamb, then he and his neighbor nearest to his house are to take a lamb according to the number of persons in them. Your house is too big for each household. The household's too small. Look at this right here. In proportion to what each one should eat, you are to divide the lamb. Okay, let's say you got 3 households of 3 sets of parents. One of the households has a kid. Probably one large lamb would feed all of them. What if one family's got like 13 kids and some uncles and aunts? Yikes. Now, back in the day, they usually lived with lots of cousins, aunts, and uncles. One lamb could probably feed a lot of people. So you'd probably, one household, say 3 households with, say 20 people could eat one lamb. So, 2 or 3 households together. All right, here we go. That's just a guess of mine, 20 people. I mean, a lamb. All right. Your lamb shall be an unblemished, no blemishes, no marks, no spots, nothing bad. Don't give them one with a gash in the side. Don't be like, oh, I've got all these good ones. Oh, there's a bad one that's got a broken leg. Let's give that one to God. No. Unblemished, male, a year old, kind of young, I guess. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats. We normally think of lamb as sheep, but hey, sheep or from goats. So you could take a sheep or a goat. I guess maybe a baby goat is a lamb. At least to the Israelites, they were. Israelites called them both lambs. Okay. I don't know what a baby goat is called nowadays, but back then they were called lambs. Okay. So a sheep or from the goats. So whenever you see stuff from the Passover around Easter time, if you go to church, you see Passover stuff. You see Jesus with a lamb. Like, oh, it's because he's the Passover lamb. The New Testament, John the Baptist says, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. We think, oh, well, then Jesus is a sheep, a nice, fluffy sheep. Might have been a goat. Right here, from the goats. The Lamb of God, he could be saying the sheep of God or the goats of God. You know what I did earlier? I thought I put that on silence. That's funny. All right. Your lamb shall be an unblemished male a year old. You may take it from the sheep or from the goats. Okay. Remember, this is on the 10th month of their first months. Okay. God said, hey, this is going to be the 10th month. This is going to be the first month for you. Pharaoh's going to make you leave. On the 10th day, you're going to do all this stuff. Here we go. You shall take the lamb. Okay, you shall keep the lamb until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel is to slaughter it at twilight. Why slaughter? Look up here. A lamb for each household. Now, if the household is too small for the lamb, then he and his nearest neighbor to his house are to take one according to the number of persons in them, in proportion to what each one should eat. Like I talked about a minute ago, each one should eat. I kind of assumed that, but it's right there in the text. Each one should eat. I don't think they're worried about like, oh no, we need like lamb skin to make our clothes. They could do that, sure. But right here, we're thinking of eating, I think. Let's keep going. She'll keep it until the 14th day. Okay, the same. So where is it at? If the lamb's too small, you shall, on by a year old, you shall take it. You shall keep it until the 14th day. Keep it for 2 weeks. 2 Sabbaths. Okay. Of the same month. Then, so this would be, if their months are about as long as ours, this will be about the middle of the month. This is 2 Sabbaths into the first month. On the 14th day of the same month, then the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel is to slaughter it at twilight. Moreover, they shall take some of the blood and put it on the 2 doorposts and on the lintel of the houses in which they eat it. The doorpost, I guess that's over the doorway. The lintel, let's see, what's that say? Upon. Let's go over here. Right there. Let's go. Exodus is before Ruth, obviously. Okay. There's Ruth, Judges, Joshua, Exodus, chapter 12. Go. Maybe some of the translators, some of the Bibles will be like, hey, here's what a lintel is. Oh, Exodus 1, chapter 12. I was confused why it started at verse 12. All right. This is a lot about leaven. Why are we looking at all this? You know what? We should go down and find leaven. Shall not leave any until morning, but whatever is left until morning, you shall completely burn with fire. Verse 10. Control F. Leaven. Okay. They shall eat the flesh the same night, roasted with fire, and they shall eat it with unleavened bread. Remember, they're going to keep this lamb until the 14th day. They're going to take some of the blood, put it on the doorposts. That's verse 6 and 7. I'm just curious, what's it say about lintel? Lintel. Okay, they will take some of the blood and put it on the 2 side posts and on top of the door frame of the houses where they will eat it. Okay, so they're going to eat it inside, I guess. They will take some of its blood and apply it to the 2 doorposts and the lintel. They take the sides, put it on the sides and tops of the door frames. So the NIV doesn't talk about lintels or doorposts. It says then they're to take some of the blood and put it on the sides and tops of the door frames. 2 doorposts, smear it on the sides and tops of the door frames. Okay. So the NLT and the NIV, which are more thought for thought, they're saying what are doorposts and lintels? The sides and the tops of the door. Okay, you're going to cover your door frame in this lamb's blood, this sheep and or baby goat blood. Okay. They shall eat the flesh of the lamb the same night, on the 14th night, roasted with fire. They're going to roast the lamb. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You're going to eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. There's leaven. 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 Sorry. Leaven. Remember, in the other, let's go back. Let's type in leaven again. So the people took their, okay, let's see. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. Oh, in this ritual that God's telling them to do, this ritual of eating food, and you're going to eat it with unleavened bread. You're going to roast it over fire. You're gonna smear blood over a doorpost. Sounds like a ritual, doesn't it? Sorry, guys, 1 second. Sounds kind of like a ritual, you know. Sounds like a feast. Sounds like God's giving them specific instructions. You're gonna eat it with unleavened bread. Okay. Look down here. Exodus 23:18. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. So they continue this tradition. Whatever Exodus 23:18 is talking about, with you shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. Exodus 12 was talking about eating a meal with unleavened bread. You were going to eat a meal. Now it's saying offering blood of my sacrifice with no leavened bread. Okay, so the whole leavened thing continues. It stays, it goes on, at least here. Exodus 34, you shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor is the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover to be left until morning. The Passover is a feast that Exodus 12 is talking about. Okay. Leviticus 2:11. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall not offer up in smoke any leaven or any honey as an offering by fire to the Lord. Okay, so on the Exodus, you're supposed to eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Here it says, don't be offering in these sacrifices that the book of Exodus is talking about. Don't be offering blood of the sacrifice with leavened bread. Here, Exodus 6, grain offering, no leaven or honey. So we see a little bit of a change. There's grain offering and there's honey to be not offered, but there's still no leaven. Still get rid of the leaven. Still no leaven. That's chapter 2. Chapter 6, it shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as a share from my offerings by fire, like the sin. Okay, it's most holy, like sin offering your life. No offering with leaven. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings for Thanksgiving, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Oh, wait. Look at this. It shall not be baked with leaven, nor offer up any any leaven or honey. People took their dough before it was leavened. Remember in Exodus, God said with unleavened bread. But down here, Exodus, he shall present his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Peace offerings for Thanksgiving you can give with cakes of leavened bread. So sacrifice of blood, no bread. No leaven, no leaven. The Passover, when you're going to eat that goat and you're going to smear blood on your doorpost, no leaven. What's it up here? The grain offering, no leaven or honey. But Thanksgiving, peace offerings for Thanksgiving, leaven. It's kind of strange. Let's see. You shall bring it from your dwelling places you shall bring in from your dwelling places 2 loaves of bread as a wave offering, made of 2/10 of an ephah. They shall be of fine flour, baked with leaven, as first fruits to the Lord. So you can give as first fruits to the Lord, not as second fruits, not you keep it and then later you're like, hey, first I'm going to eat. Second, my family. Third, here you go, God. No. Who gets the fruits first? The Lord. And he has taken bread baked with leaven. Huh. You know. Oh, hey, Deuteronomy. Dude, hey, look. You shall not eat leavened bread with you. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened. You shall not eat leavened bread. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread with it, the bread of affliction. For you came out of the land of Egypt in a hurry, so that you will remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt, all the days of your life. 16:3. 16:4. For 7 days no leaven shall be seen with you in your entire territory. Get rid of all the leaven. That's probably impossible. Probably hyperbole to get the point across. None of the meat which you sacrifice on the evening of the first day shall be left overnight until the morning. That said that earlier. None of the meat you shall eat. Okay. I think we said that way earlier, but let's revisit it. Where was it at up here somewhere? Right here. Exodus 23:18. So this is when they're in the wilderness after they have left Egypt. They have exited Egypt. They have the Exodus. They exodused Egypt. Why do they give these weird names? I don't know. Why not just call it exit? The exit. Moses and the great exit. But they call it the Exodus. They left. They're in the wilderness. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor is the fat of my feast to remain overnight until morning. Go back to what I called the Passover. Okay, so you got the lamb, take the goat or the sheep, number of proportions to what each one should eat. So they're going to eat it. You divide the baby goat, baby sheep. The lamb shall be unblemished, a male year old from the sheep or goat. Shall keep it unto the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation is slaughtered at twilight. For remember over here, what is this? There we go. Remember over here, it says, for 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, the bread of affliction. For 7 days no leaven shall be seen within your entire territory. None of the meat which you sacrifice on the evening of the first day shall be left until morning. So 7 days. Here we got 14 days. So is it the same? Is it not the same? Maybe it's saying for 7 days, no leaven, then you can have leaven until the 14th day. Maybe it's saying like until the 7th day. No, maybe it's not talking about the same thing, right? Maybe it is the same, but not exactly the same. God can say, remember what we did in the past. We're going to do a feast like that, similar now. So we got 14, we got 7. It's still 14, 7 plus 7, still 14. We could try and figure it out. We could scour the Bible. I'm good for now. I'm having fun doing this. How long have I been going? I'm not sure. It says 47 minutes, but I think I started about 10 minutes. I started Zoom. It went for about 10 minutes with 15 minutes without recording. I think so. I heard a funny noise. I hope my cat's aren't fighting. Let's take a baby cat from the flock with unleavened bread. No, my cats are safe. I like to pet them. All right, here we go. Moreover, they take some of the blood from not the unleavened bread, from the goat, right? The baby goat or the baby sheep. Sheep or goat. Put it on a doorpost. They shall eat the flesh that same night, roasted with fire. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. The same night they're going to eat it. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled at all in water, but roasted with fire. Now, why did I say one lamb could feed a bunch of people? Both its head and its legs, along with its entrails. You're going to roast all of it and eat all of it, even the head and the legs and the entrail. I'm not sure what part of the head. They can't eat the skull and the bones. I mean, I don't know. I read a book and they talked about, hey, here's a head of a lamb. And they were like, yay. And it said that a dude, took his little eating utensil, and this is back in Jesus' time. The book was like depicting what it's like back in Jesus' time. Took his little eating utensil and he poked one of the eyeballs out and stuck it in his mouth. And I guess that's what they did back then. They would think we're gross for eating shrimp because God told them nothing with scales and fins. With nothing with either scales and no fins, or with fins and no scales. Anyway, God told them no sheep, no shrimp, no lobster. We eat shrimp and lobster. They'd have been like, you're disgusting. You can't be eating shrimp and lobster. My jacket is bothering me. Okay. I need to get a haircut. See that? Yeah. You need me a haircut there. We look at them and go, you think we're disgusting for eating shrimp? You eat goat eyeballs. But they'd be like, that's the most normal thing ever. Goat head. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Do not eat any of it without, okay. You shall not leave any of it until morning. Whatever is left in the morning, you shall completely burn with fire. So eat all of it. Eat it all. If there's any left over, you can burn it in the morning. Okay, good, good. Now you shall eat it in this way. How shall you eat it? With your garment belted around your waist, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in a hurry. That's why unleavened bread, I think, because leaven makes bread rise. Pancakes, flat, no leaven or minimal leaven. Tortillas are flat, no leaven, just flour. Bread that you buy from the store, giant loaves of bread, rolls that you get, you cut them up and put butter on them. They're fluffy. They have leaven. They rise. Leaven makes the bread rise. If you don't have time, if you're in a hurry, okay. Chapter 11. Let's look down here. Where's it at? Speak to the people of gold. Article Moses said, this is what I'm going to, in the midst of you, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Firstborn of the Pharaoh sits on the throne, the firstborn of the slave girl in the city as well. Oh, it doesn't. We're not even a dog, even the servants will come down, go follow you out, and I will go after. Okay. Control F. E. Well, that's 11. Leave. Okay, this whole chapter is ordinance of the Passover. Here, let's see. Pharaoh. Okay, now it came about midnight that the Lord struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. Midnight. What time were they supposed to slaughter the lamb? At twilight, which is about the time that day turns into night. We call it evening time, call it twilight. At midnight, so they've had time to do the ordinance to kill this baby goat. They slaughter at twilight. They bake bread, but without leaven. They are eating bitter herbs. It said they're putting blood on the doorpost at midnight. In the land of Egypt, the Lord struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all cattle. Pharaoh got up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was no home where there was not someone dead. Then, in the middle of the night, it looks like, he called for Moses and Aaron at night and said, rise up, get out from among my people, both you and the sons of Israel, and go worship the Lord as you have said. Take both your flocks and herds as you said, and go and bless me also. And bless me also. Yep. The Egyptians urged the people to send them out of the land in a hurry. Why are you eating it with your staff in your hand, with your belt girded around your waist, right? No leaven to let the bread rise. Why are you doing it that way? Pharaoh gets up. He sees his people. Moses, get over here. Get y'all's butts out. Now, leave. Hurry. Land. The Egyptians urged the people to send them out of the land in a hurry, for they said, we will all be dead. So the people took their dough before it was leavened, with their kneading bowls bound up in their clothes and their shoulders. They were still trying to make the bread. No leaven, though, right? They're like, man, we have to leave quick because they want us to leave. It's all symbolic, right? And why do I say it's all symbolic? Well, they really did want them to leave quick. You know, the leaven is symbolic, but look up here. The first month on the 14th day, you shall eat unleavened bread. Okay, that's a feast of unleavened bread. Okay. Where's it at? You shall keep it 14th day. Put some of the blood on your doorposts. Eat the flesh that same night, roasted, bitter herbs. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled, but rather roasted with fire, both its head and its legs, along with its entrails. And you shall, well, hey, when you live in a country where you are a slave and or you're just poor and everything comes from all your food, all of it comes from either A, the land that you own, B, the land that somebody else owns and lets you eat some of it. C, the cattle you own, or D, the cattle someone else owns. So they own it and they give it to you. You don't go to Walmart. You don't have coupons and food stamps. No, no, no. If you don't have your own land or somebody that's gracious enough to give you some of the food from their land, you die. So if you get a lamb and you cook it, you got that baby sheep or that baby goat. You got that baby sheep, that baby goat. You're gonna eat all of it. You're not gonna be like, oh, we don't want the entrails and throw it away because we got plenty of baby goat. No. Today, I throw away the heels of my bread. Why? Because I got a job and I can easily just go to the store tomorrow and get bread. Not that way with them. They had to make bread that night. God didn't say, now make sure there's no leaven and get some of the leavened bread that you made the other day. No, no, no. God said, when you make bread tonight for dinner. That's the way they did it. He didn't say get a lamb and roast, one of your lambs that's already roasted. They didn't have refrigerators. They had to roast it that night. That's the way they did it. It's called hand-to-mouth subsistence. Hand-to-mouth subsistence. You pick a turnip with your hand, then you put it in your mouth and eat it. You don't pay somebody. Somebody goes and pays a farmer, hires a farmer. The farmer and his farm ranchers go out there and sow seed. They use their hands to pick it. They put it in bags. They put it on trucks. They ship it. The people who paid the money ship it to the big dogs. They put it in stores. Then you go and you buy it. Finally, it's in your hand. Then you take it home. You stick it in your fridge. Later, you're like, hey, let's have turnip stew, or I don't know, let's have turkey and put some vegetables around it. So you pull all the stuff out, including the turnip. You then chop it up, so it's in your hand again. You put it on the plate. You stick it in the oven. You get it out. Hey, it looks nice. You set it there. You take then hand to mouth. No. For them, hand out of the ground, mouth. That was, hand to mouth subsistence that quick. So, you shall keep it to the 14th day. What was it? You shall eat it. Do not any of it roasted with fire, but with roasted hind legs. You shall not any of it until morning. But whatever is left, look at this. Do not eat any of the lamb, raw or boiled, at all with water. Don't eat it raw. Don't eat it boiled at all with water, but rather eat roasted with fire. Why? I'm not recalling why. I'm not recalling the Bible telling us why. It might be somewhere and later on I go, hey, but I'm not recalling. We could look it up, but I'm good. I'm good. Both its head and its legs along with its entrails. You shall not leave any of it over until morning. No, because they have to leave really quick. How are they going to be able to leave it? Pharaoh's wakes up at midnight and is like, oh my gosh, and freaks out, makes them leave. But whatever is left of it until morning, you shall completely burn with fire. Wait, if Pharaoh's making them leave right away, if they're eating with their staff in their, no, you shall eat it this way, with your garment belted around your waist, your sandals on your feet, your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in a hurry, is the Lord's Passover. Eat it in a hurry. Eat it quickly. Why do you have your sandals on your feet? What do you do whenever you leave the house? You need to put on your sandals. You don't take off your garment and let it chill and then, oh no, it's time to leave. Oh, let me find my jacket. No time. You better already have your jacket on. You got to go. You got to leave. Staff in hand so you can leave right away. Whenever Lot ran away and God said, don't look back. Lot's wife looked back, pillar of salt. Pharaoh's like going to say, hey, leave now. But do not eat any of it. Okay. Eat it this way. You shall eat in a hurry. Pharaoh's going to tell him to leave now. But whatever's left of the lamb until morning, you shall completely burn with fire. How long does it take? Are you going to be there in the morning? That section we read down here, where was it at? Exodus of Israel. A more of redemption. At midnight, the Lord struck all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on the throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. The Pharaoh got up in the night. he and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there's a great cry in Egypt, for there was no home where there was not someone dead. Then he called Moses and Aaron at night, not in the morning. Pharaoh got up. There was a great cry. Now it could have taken an hour or two, midnight. Let's say it's 2:30. Pharaoh figures out his son is dead. Then someone else says, hey, my son is dead. Then they go out and they hear people crying and weeping and wailing. They're like, what's all this going on? They walk by the cattle stall. They stop. They look. There's dead cattle. Wait, that was the youngest cat. Wait, Moses was right. They start, Pharaoh's servants start going door to door. Your child's dead. Your child's dead. Your child's dead. They go back to Pharaoh. Everybody's child's dead. He wasn't kidding. Dude comes up from the dungeon, says, hey, dude down in the dungeon, dead. He was the firstborn, I bet. Pharaoh says, I give up. I give up. Call Moses now. So it probably takes a little while, right? I just kind of made up a story, right? But of how it could have looked. Call Moses now, get his butt over here so they can get their butts out of here. Let them enter here so they can exit there. But at night. But then look, you shall not leave any of it until morning. They're not even going to be there in the morning. They're going to leave. But whatever is left until morning, you shall completely burn with fire. Okay. The Jews were a huge multitude of people. It says, if we look, it says something like, well, let's see. Control F6. Oh, verse 6. Let's go. I don't see. Oh, there's 16. There's a 6. Okay, let's go to chapter 14. 6. There's verse 6. I'm looking for the number. It gives us a number. 6, 26, 416. Okay. I'm only going to go a few more chapters. No, it's not. Well, maybe. It might be here, but I bet not. Verse 6. What's verse 16? I bet verse 26. 1960. New American Standard Bible, copyright 1960. 71, 77, 95, 2020. That's the one to read, 2020. Let's go one or two more chapters. Lord provides manna. Okay, verse. Oops. Oh, 16. 16. 16. Okay, there's verse 6. There's verse 16. 26 days, 36. I could have swore. Okay, I'm thinking chapter 17. Water in the rock. Oops. Verse 6. Verse 6. Okay. Somewhere it tells us that there was like 600,000 something people. Not women and children, I think. 6, 16, 26. I could have swore that it told us the number and it was 600,000 something people. But I could be wrong. There was a lot of people, right? A great multitude. 6, 36, 46. Okay. You got a lot of people that have to get up and leave Egypt. Pharaoh says, leave now. But you got lots of families, lots of babies, lots of kids. You've got lots of tents that you're probably living in. Some of them might be living in houses, but a lot of them might be living in tents. Okay. You got lots of cattle and livestock, right? A lot of them don't have cattle and livestock, but some of them do. Evidently, because when the Pharaoh says, take all your stuff, all your cattle and livestock and leave. When they're in the wilderness, Moses says, hey, we got all this cattle and livestock. God, you want me to kill it all so they can all eat? And God says, no, I'll provide manna and quail. So they took a lot of cattle and livestock, but also, so in other words, Pharaoh, leave now. But wait, they got to burn this animal until morning. Yes. Things took longer back then. 2 or 3 days was a short, was it? Sometimes it'll say, and word came back soon. And then you find out word came back soon was like 2 weeks. That's not soon. Today, word came back soon was here. Let me text you back. 5 minutes. If I text somebody important, my boss, and he doesn't text me back in 10 minutes, I'm like, what's he doing? He texts me hours later. I'm like, dude, you took forever. Hours. The Bible, 2 weeks was like snappy. John says in the book of John, he says, this is the last hour. Paul says, I die daily. Right? Paul says, I die daily. Not, I would say I die every moment, every hour, every minute, every moment, every second I die. Day for Paul is a short time increment. John says last hour. This is just before Revelation, just before the whole Rome comes down and destroys the Jewish temple. Okay, we don't get that in the Bible. We get that from history. John's like, dudes, this is the last hour. So I mean, an hour, he meant like the time is so near. Control F, Egypt. Let's go right here. Speaking now, okay. One more plague I will bring on the Pharaoh and on Egypt. After that, he will let you go from here. When he lets you go, he will assuredly drive you out from here completely. Speak now so that the people hear. Speak now so that the people hear. The people would be Israel. It usually talks about the Egyptians, and when it says the people, it's talking about Israel. Okay. That each man is to ask of his neighbor, and each woman of her neighbor, articles of silver and articles of gold. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Okay. Each man, if people is Israel, then the neighbor and the neighbor, articles of silver and gold. Probably talking about the Egyptians. The Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Maybe they're asking each other, hey, fellow Israelite, can you give me silver and gold? I'm not sure. That's kind of, let's go down. Of course, I know the answer, but we're trying to study about this time of night. We're going to go in the midst of Egypt. All the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Okay. Cry in all the land of Egypt, but not even a dog. Learn how the Lord distinguishes between you and Egypt. 7 of 8. So we got my one is okay. There's the summary of all the plagues right there. All right. Egypt, land of Egypt. Where we'll go to the land of Egypt on that night and fatally strike the firstborn. Okay. Land of Egypt, the gods of Egypt. I will strike there, Egypt. You shall also keep the feast of unleavened bread, a feast of unleavened bread. For on this very day I brought your multitudes out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall keep this day throughout your generation as a permanent ordinance. It's a feast. Look at this. Now this day shall be a memorial to you. So hey, okay. I was trying to find something else about Egypt because why are they going to burn it with fire? That takes too long. I was trying to show you they had more stuff to do. Just because Pharaoh says, leave now. God says, leave in a hurry. To us, a hurry would be right away. And sometimes it is in the Bible. Sometimes it's more symbolic. And sometimes in a hurry isn't necessarily that moment. Pharaoh's going to know that when Pharaoh says leave now, it's going to take him a while to leave, right? So if they don't eat the whole Passover, hey, while everybody's getting everything ready to leave, burn the Passover. Burn it up, But look at this. Now this day shall be, which day? The day of the Passover. This day shall be a memorial to you, and you shall celebrate it because look up here. Right here. We're reading all the Passover stuff. A lamb for each household, from the sheep or the goats, keep it until the 14th day, right? They shall eat the flesh the same night, roasted with fire. They shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You're belted around your waist. Nope. Okay, when I see the blood, remember where they put the blood? They put it on the doorpost. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. No plague will come upon you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. What's the plague? The death of the firstborn. That's this plague. We read earlier when we were looking up kneading about the plague of frogs. But here you got a plague of the death of the firstborn. When I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will come upon you to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. Is that why it's called? It is the Lord's Passover, because God's going to pass over them. Okay, unleavened bread, feast of unleavened bread. Why do they call it that? Because there's no leaven. Now this day shall be memorial to you. Okay, so Moses hasn't stopped talking. So now Moses is going to explain more. God through Moses is going to explain more. Now this day shall be a memorial to you. You're going to remember it. You're going to memorize, remember. It'll be a memorial to you. You shall celebrate it as a feast to the Lord. Throughout your generations, you are to celebrate it as a permanent ordinance. Today, what do we do every Sunday? We do the Lord's Supper. Not every Sunday. Some churches do it every Sunday. Some churches do it. My church does it once a month. Some churches do it less than that, right? It's a memorial. You do it to remember, right? That's why you eat the Lord's Supper, to remember, to help you remember, hey, Jesus died for us. Jesus broke some bread and he died for us. To celebrate as a permanent ordinance. That's why some churches, even nowadays, they celebrate feast like this. Of course, the permanent ordinance we are to celebrate is the Last Supper. The bread, the broken bread, and all that. The ordinance that the Jews would have celebrated permanent throughout the Jews' generations would have been the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? Yeah. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. For 7 days. Remember, God told them on the 14th day they're going to slaughter the animal. Now he's giving a little bit more instructions about this feast that they're going to hold. Eat it as a feast to the Lord. Throughout your generations you celebrate a permanent ordinance. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, but on the first day you shall remove dough with yeast from your houses. Remove it. For whoever eats anything with yeast from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. Yeast and leaven, I believe, are the same thing. I believe they're the same thing. You put yeast or leaven in there, and it makes it rise. And on the first day you shall have a holy assembly, and another holy assembly on the 7th day. Okay, and remember, you're eating unleavened bread between the 1st and the 7th day. No, it doesn't say you're going to eat a lamb, cook a lamb every night and slaughter it at twilight. It doesn't say that. It says unleavened bread. It doesn't say you're going to wipe the blood of the lamb every night for 7 days. You're going to leave blood up every night. It's not focusing on that part, unleavened bread. For whatever reason, it's focusing on unleavened bread. Probably because that's just most practical. They had to slaughter a lamb every 7th night. Every night for 7 nights in a row. They're going to run out of lambs real quick when this ordinance, when this festival comes. And that's going to be a lot of food to eat, right? They're only supposed to celebrate this the first day until the 7th day. I'm guessing the first month, right? So once a year on the first month. That's my guess. Okay. So let's say it's just once a year. Well, if you were to have to slaughter a lamb and eat it, you and your household, or if your household is too small, you got other households. If you had to do that every night for 7 nights in a row, by the 3rd night, you'd be like, my belly's way too full. God, I'm just, and you start running out of cattle. You want to make it stretch. God knows you're going to be going through the wilderness for 40 years. God said, I will provide for you. How does he provide? By A, he gives them quail and manna in the wilderness, and B, he doesn't say, give me all your cattle. No, he lets them keep their cattle. They can eat some of it. But flour and leaven, that's plentiful. Excuse me. That's plentiful. Grains, That's much more plentiful than cows and such. The first day you shall have a holy assembly, another holy assembly on the seventh day. No work shall be done on them, except what must be eaten by every person. That alone may be prepared by you. So you can work in order to prepare what to eat. What do you prepare to eat? Unleavened bread. You shall also keep the feast of unleavened bread. They even call it the feast of unleavened bread. That alone may, for on this very day I brought you, on this very day. Remember, Moses is talking to them about the day they're going to slaughter the lamb. Okay, now they're talking about a memorial. They're trying to remember the feast of the Passover. Okay, you shall also keep the feast of unleavened bread. You're going to keep it. Don't forsake it. Why? For on this day, in other words, on that day in Egypt, when God killed all the firstborns of the Egyptians, on this very day, I brought your multitudes out of the land of Egypt. Therefore, you shall keep this day throughout your generations as a permanent ordinance. In the first month, I was right, the first month. On the 14th day of the month at evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. So they're going to eat it not the very first day of the first month. So earlier I said it's the first day until the 14th day. No, it looks like here, at least in the feast, the first month on the 14th day of the evening, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day. So 14 days plus 7 days, no unleavened bread. You're going to eat the feast. You're going to eat the lamb. Okay. You shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. For 7 days there shall be no dough with yeast found in your houses. For whoever eats anything with yeast, that person shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he is a stranger or a native of the land. You shall not eat anything with yeast. In all your dwellings you shall eat unleavened bread. I'm guessing if somebody accidentally eats it, I'm guessing if they search and scour, they're like, hey, make sure and get all the leaven out, and they drop some behind the fridge. They don't have fridges. They dropped some behind somewhere and they couldn't find it. It's symbolic. God's not going to be like, hey, you didn't check under that super heavy rock that fell. Well, God, it was too heavy. My husband was out in the field working and such. And when he came home, he was exhausted. No, you should have found it all. Too bad. I don't think God's going to do that. They do their due diligence. They try to get rid of the leaven. Maybe it says no leaven in the house. Maybe they could even put it in jars marked leaven or yeast. Put it in these jars marked yeast, tie a rope around it, set it over there. Don't go near that. But Mom, it says to keep it out of the house. Okay, so they go sit outside. What if a thief comes and steals it? Is God going to tell them to do something dangerous? This seems to me more symbolic. Now, they really aren't supposed to eat leavened bread. Okay, I don't think. Seems very, okay. Don't eat leaven. Don't have it in your house. Just get rid of it, all of it. We're trying to keep the ordinance. We're trying to remember. God is saying this is important. Why would God be so picky about it, eating unleavened bread? Why is he so picky about it? It's pointing back to the Passover, which was super important. This is like the establishing of the nation of Israel. Okay, Jacob, he had all these babies. They had a nation. The nation went into slavery in Egypt. They went down to Egypt for good purposes. Then eventually they were put into slavery. Now, the official start, okay? The official start of the nation. The nation is there, but they're in bondage. They're in slavery. They're like a nation captured by another nation. Now they have their freedom. They're exiting Egypt. The exodus is happening. They're leaving Egypt. Pharaoh says, go, leave. Your God killed all my firstborn. You're out of here. They're free now. They're not only their own nation, they're their own nation free. God says this will be the first month of for you. He's trying to really make them remember. God really wants us to remember stuff, I guess. Leaven this, leaven that, no leaven, no, get rid of leaven. For 7 days, then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said to them, wait, weren't they there already? Maybe he was talking, let's see. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt. So maybe the God is just talking to Moses and Aaron. Then down here, then Moses called for all the elders and said to them, Go and take for yourselves lambs according to your families and slaughter the Passover lamb. Wait, God told Moses and Aaron, and Moses and Aaron just said, hey, take lambs according to your family and go slaughter the Passover lamb. Like they already know about it. I bet Moses explained everything. I bet right here is like a summary statement. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood, which is in the basin. It didn't say anything about a basin earlier, did it? They got to put the blood in something, though. You know, the blood they're going to smear on their door and apply some of the blood that is in the basin to the lintel and the two doorposts. None of you shall go outside the door of his house until morning. That part, I don't think it told us earlier up here. God didn't tell Moses and Aaron that. Or, as I keep saying, this might just be a summary. It doesn't tell us every little last thing every single time. You kind of put stuff together. We put this paragraph here. We put that together with this paragraph up here. We get more details, right? You know, so 4, the Lord will pass through and strike the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to strike you. You shall keep this event as an ordinance for you and your children forever. How would they do that? I bet Moses explained to them this right here. I bet Moses explained to them. Yeah. It doesn't tell us Moses explained everything. It doesn't tell us, but does Moses expect them? Does Moses expect them to just read his mind? Moses is like, so God told me, but I'm not going to tell you, but you have to know anyway. No, you know. You shall keep this event as an ordinance for you and your children forever. They were probably already used to keeping festivals and events and dinners and, hey, let's remember this stuff. They were probably, God doesn't say I'm going to do a brand new thing. What's this new thing? It's called a feast. It's called a memorial. You're going to do this. It's a brand, and the Israelites, we've never done that. It doesn't seem that way. This is probably a common thing. That's my guess. When you enter the land, which the Lord will give you, they're leaving Egypt. God's going to give them a land. As he has promised to give them the land. Good. You shall keep this right. And when your children, and they don't have to keep it in order to keep God from passing over Egypt and killing the firstborn of the Egyptians, but not killing the firstborn of the Israelites. Why? They're not in Egypt anymore. He says, you shall keep this event as an ordinance for you and your children forever. Why are they going to keep it? Is God going to send the death angel to Egypt once a year and they have to go back to No. It's an ordinance. It's a remembrance. They're remembering the day. And when your children say to you, what does this rite mean to you? Then you shall say, it is a Passover sacrifice to the Lord, because he passed over the houses of the sons of Israel in Egypt when he struck the Egyptians, but spared our homes. And the people bowed low and worshiped. Oh, hey, look at this. Then the sons of Israel went and did so. They went and did everything that up here that was just talked about. Just as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so they did. Okay, so like I said, it doesn't tell us when Aaron and Moses told them everything. It does tell us they called the elders and they told the elders certain things. It told the elders certain things. It does tell us here that it seems as though they did tell all the people, because right here, just all the people. Where is it at? So the sons of Israel, not the elders, the sons, all the sons of Israel, the people probably, went and did so. Just as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so they all did. Okay. So somewhere in there, Moses and Aaron got the word across. Remember what I talked about, how we think of things as like, real quick is like right away. Well, right here, real quick for them, this could have taken days, but for them, that's pretty quick. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead, now that we've explained the Passover, and stop share. We're going to go ahead and stop this Bible study alone. Okay, we've explained what leaven is. We've, kneading. What is leaven? We talked about kneading. Oh, it's about baking stuff. Oh, okay, yeah. We could have gotten that from a Google search. BJ, everybody knows what kneading is. We're just trying to use the Bible to search for this stuff. We're trying to do Bible study. What can we find by just using the Bible? God gives us everything we need in his revelation. Not everything we need for everything ever, but everything we need for holiness, for salvation, for godly living. Okay, so we can trust that if we study the Bible on a topic, we can find it. The topic, we can find out about it, okay? And that's what we're proving here. Did we find out everything about kneading, everything about leavening? Did I make some leaps? Did I say, I'm guessing this here? I think yes. Has God given us everything we need? In that I am a sinner and I'm a finite creature, I probably missed stuff. But in that God breathed revelation from the Bible came to me and that we studied it and that God himself can give us what he needs, then yes, we've gotten everything we need. Okay, guys, let's pray real quick and then we'll be done with this one and we'll have a part 2, obviously, so we can look up more stuff about leaven. Dear Lord, thank you very much for being good to us. Thank you for learning us about leaven, for teaching us about the rite of the Passover, for loving us enough to give us this information. What does it all mean, Lord? I know you will teach us. And even if we never find out, well, why in the world do they do this weird stuff, this Passover and all that? Why would you kill those kids? Why would you command them to eat goats and stuff? Lord, if we're like, what does this mean? Why are we doing all this? We know you love us and you care for us, and that in the end, that's what matters. Thank you very much, God. Amen. See y'all in the next Bible study along.